We had a very rushed morning, but we put ourselves together.
We did. My little
What
one's
happened?
sick. And
Oh,
I know every time he's sick, I mean, he's already needy, which I love, but it's the ultra needy. So trying to like do makeup, get ready, make him breakfast. I
With
was
a little
like,
koala bear attached.
you know,
Oh yeah.
you know,
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can pull off.
honestly,
it's-
right? It's
And I
so
got
true.
2 kids. Actually, this morning they kept performing Royal Rumble, and I'm like, we gotta get dressed. We gotta go.
I
We
love it.
gotta go. Are they in school
You're
yet?
good. Okay, great.
Yeah. So ours, we have
Okay.
boys that are 4, and they're 22 hours apart. So that's the weird twin stuff that we've done in our life.
Wild.
And then I have a daughter who's 7. She'll be 8 in May.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like the elder.
The elder, and she's an old soul and like so girly and and motherly and
Oh.
my, I know she's my easy one. And my son, it's like having 3 kids out of him. I'm like, shit. He's my
like, what
wild,
did I
which I
do?
love. He's my wild boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're wild.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
I was
Too
in
funny.
the recent one, and so I was number 30, so he keeps wanting to watch. And he'll ask me the same thing every time, like, why did you lose? Like, it's like for him, he thinks, I think the outcome might be different if he keeps watching, his dodo will win.
Oh,
And he's
wow.
like, why did she take you out of the ring? Like, why did you lose?
Well, and then he thinks she's so cool, and I'm like, mommy
She is.
used to wrestle.
He does
like,
think I'm
Yeah.
do we need to pull up YouTube? And like, he's like, no dodo, and I'm like, okay, I was her tag partner. Like,
Me too. Me too.
you know,
Right?
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
You got to come back, Brie.
I know we do. Well, I say we jump into
Let's jump into it. All right.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Nikki and Brie Show. Okay, so a few episodes ago, you all heard us rave nonstop about a movie we recently saw on a red carpet we were on, Queen of the Ring. I mean, we
amazing.
just couldn't stop talking about it.
couldn't.
So, of course, we had to bring on the lead actress, and she has been featured in so many different roles. This one is obviously very special to our hearts. But please give a warm welcome, everyone, to Emily Bett Rickards. Emily, we are so excited.
I'm excited to be here. That was such a great intro.
Oh my gosh.
I have to listen to the other episode you did
Oh.
where you raped.
We raved. I even have chills again.
I know. I got
about it.
goosebumps.
The movie was so incredible, and you as Mildred, you brought her to life.
Dead.
And it was just so inspiring and motivational and emotional, like all the feels. Like you did so incredible.
Wow. Oh, thank you. I mean, Mildred was an incredible woman. I really do owe so much of that to her because it was really finding out who she was and her story and really kind of, going into sort of I don't know, trying to talk to her, trying to understand who she was. I mean, the platform that she built and fought for women is something I get to stand on today. So
Right.
what a privilege to be connected to her now in this light.
Gosh,
I
I mean,
agree.
and you did embody her. How did that first call go? Who called you and was like, we have this part for you. We think you'd be great. How'd that all go down?
Well, my team had read the script and I got a call being like, "Hey, we have a really interesting project. We think you should give it a read." The directors asked if you'll read the script. Didn't really tell me much about it, just said it was really interesting, kind of unique. I gave it a read. I sort of tore through it. And before I even really had, before contracts or anything, like really right after that first read, I was on the internet, like, who is this woman? I was like talking to my partner, he's making dinner. I'm just like, have you heard of this woman? Like, why haven't we heard of her? Like, why has she been buried in history? Why don't I know who she is? And there's all these photos of her. I was like, look at her here, And so I guess you could say pretty obsessed and connected from the first take. And then I had a call with Ash, our director, and we spoke and we had I think both had a lot to say, him a lot about wrestling. I had a lot of questions about her and who she was and what the heart of the story was there. She was a single mother as well. And that's really, I think, like the heart and her passion tied into wrestling. She thought knew she could have both. And I think that we really speak to that and her legacy in our film.
Yes,
you guys
you
did.
do. And
wow.
I think that's what I got so connected with, was that part of it, being a single mom and still doing my career and knowing, I've always said like, no, you can do both. So then watching this story, because I knew a little bit of Mildred, but then watching this story, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know all these things. Like, just like you, how are we not talking more about her? Let alone, I loved how you guys added in like the amount of money she made, not just as a female wrestler, but for a woman in sports at that time, and all of those things, but also putting her child first. And I just was so emotionally connected to that. And then also beyond inspired, like she did this in the 40s and 50s, 60s, like no excuse over here. Like she broke barriers not only in a ring, but as a single mother.
For sure. And I think too, it's like if you read the book, you read it and it's like, it's almost like these facts. But for me, when I see a movie, I get the heart and soul. And I just, that's what you really, oh my gosh, you did an incredible job. I just remember I wiped away tears so many times and I was just so glued to the TV. But how was it preparing for this role? Was it tough?
I mean, challenging, yes. I think when, I speak sort of like driven by passion, I love acting. I love sort of the psychology of a character, of a woman. And so though it's tough, everything is like for the greater good. Like you really just, when you're following your bliss, I'm sure you feel this way in wrestling too. Like it's kind of, you're of service. You're so much. And I think Mildred believed this about being a single mother and a wrestler. Like not only could she do both, it made each version of herself stronger, right? Like it was stronger together. If she were to kind of give up one, then she would have been a half version, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel that way kind of about acting and figuring her out. And so though it's challenging, it kind of like makes you of service in your life. And it is all like, none of it kind of, no matter how challenging, it doesn't matter. Cause like you're getting somewhere, you're finding someone, you're going deeper, you're connecting in that way. But yeah, putting on that muscle to find out how she walked around was definitely different than what I had done. I mean, I'm sure you're both very, very knowledgeable about all that. And it was really a life change for me. I mean, it was a segment of, I think 2022 that was just full on Mildred, Millie Muscles, Kansas Cyclone, chicken breast, wrestling.
Wow.
Wow. And so did you have to put it together like a whole workout program? Like
Yeah, I have 2
lifting?
trainers,
Wow.
and a nutritionist, Dr. Diego Bottizelli, who put together not only like my nutrition macros program, but also like certain exercises that would grow with me as I got stronger, and that were also, induce complementary with this sort of hours of set that we were working with, so that when you build up stress in the body, then your muscles can't grow as much either. So we wanted to make sure there was a good balance. And then Thomas Taylor, who's another trainer of mine here, sort of helped put it all together.
Wow.
It was a team effort. I wouldn't have been able to do it alone. There's no way.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Damn.
I couldn't even imagine. And then the wrestling part. So you're not only having to build all this muscle, keep the stress down, but then you had to learn how to wrestle too on the side, right?
Yes. So when I landed in Louisville, I was there about 3 weeks before we went to camera. And I think it was about 4 weeks before our first wrestling match that would be shot on camera. And so I was training with Al Snow and Dougie Basham at OVW, and then all the wrestlers at OVW who just let me throw them to the ground incessantly until I could learn really how to throw, how to bump, how to run the ropes, and, get into the persona. All the shows that I was able to watch, really helped, talking to all the wrestlers about their passion, why wrestling, why this persona for them, all of that was so informative and welcoming.
That's
Such a welcoming
amazing.
community.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
so
how'd
cool.
your first bump feel?
Oh, pretty, pretty, oh yeah. Al Snow gave me it, which I think
I'm
is
sure he did.
pretty legendary. It was cataclysmic. Yeah, it was eye-opening.
Oh,
my
but you know
gosh, I
what?
bet.
Sometimes I feel like is even worse is when you learn how to run the ropes. Like people don't realize the ropes
Oh, yeah.
hurt so bad.
Bruise up your back.
You're bruised for like 2 weeks, but you have to keep running them, and it's just that same spot in your back, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And I would say it's different types of pain, right? Like it's like the bump is sort of feels meaningful. And so like, I feel like we can justify it. Whereas like running the ropes feels like annoying.
Yes.
Like it's annoying pain. You're like, oh no, I'm cooking dinner and my ribs hurt. Whereas like the bump, you're like, oh yeah, that one was worth it.
Totally.
It felt like adjustment. You're like, oh, I'm just adjusting my back.
That's right. No, I love that.
Oh yeah, when you fall and you get a crack and you're like, wow, I don't have to go to chiropractor.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
That was amazing.
I mean,
Awesome.
still to this day, I remember my first bump. So at the time that we started wrestling, there was OVW and then FCW. And actually, it was the Deep South, and they shut that down, and then it went to FCW in Florida. So we ended up going to FCW. Half of the people we kind of wrestled with were at OVW. So it's like crazy. When I heard OVW, when you guys were all doing your interviews after the movie, which was really amazing, I was like, whoa, OVW. I'm like, that's still around? I had no idea.
You didn't?
I figured Al Snow would have retired by now.
Well, I remember when they were filming because all the girls were talking about it, and Trinity, who's known as Naomi, was there. And I know Charlotte was I think Ashley was going to go do some stuff. So I was on a few group text messages where everyone was talking about this movie. So I knew when you guys were filming.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be so badass. And everyone was so pumped for it and excited.
Well, I was left off those text messages.
You were. Sorry, girl.
There was I was also not involved in these text messages, which is unfortunate.
Right?
I love it.
I'm like, okay.
Right. Okay, so out of the movie, what would you say the hardest scene was to film? There were so many intense scenes, so many emotional scenes. Which one would you say was like the hardest for you?
Gosh, I don't know. They're all challenging in their own right. And a lot of acting is really like getting out of your own way. And so it kind of depends like where all your own baggage is at.
Yeah, actually, good point.
That's true.
Like it really is about surrendering. It's also about preparation for sure. But really when it comes between action and cut, like you're asking an art form to arrive on time. And like that can be very challenging. I remember the fight with Toni Storm was challenging, not the actual fight, but the hours we shot. We shot like throughout the night and it was, quite tiring. But I mean, Toni is just like an absolute pro and, everything that looks good in that fight is because of her. And I don't know. There's difficult moments, but really it comes down to, I think you know what? There's a scene with Josh and I at the carnival after Mildred's found out that he's slept with this other woman. And there was a cyclone or a tornado coming in or something. And we had like literally only that moment to shoot.
Oh, no.
And everyone was evacuated, like everyone besides like us, because I was like, we should probably get this at least in one take because we're an indie film. You don't really get to come back. We don't have the scene yet.
Wow.
What is happening? And we weren't against any laws, anyone, because we were still rolling the camera.
Yeah.
And it really like, we got it and we ran away. And I looked at the director and I was like, did we get that scene? And he's like, we were hoping,
Yeah. And it was great.
Oh, so that scene was one take. That was a one take wonder.
Yeah, and you'll notice on my coverage, like the wind is picking up, which like only feeds the scene. But funnily enough, like when we're on Josh's coverage, there's not like a ton of wind.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look back
now
at that.
I'm gonna have to rewatch.
But I do remember that it felt stormy in there. Like it did.
Maybe we were calling it. We were calling it.
Yeah. Went with the mood.
The beginning of the storm.
That
that relationship. I like it.
Well, and that's what's incredible about filming an indie film. And even I was blown away when we were sitting in the audience after and you guys were saying this was a low budget film because when you watch, it does not feel like that
it does
at all. Mm-hmm. And so when it's an indie film, is it only a certain amount of weeks, small budget that you guys get? And then if you don't get it, too bad, so sad?
It really depends on how the indie film is made, right? Because what independent means like independently funded. And so, you want to get as much funding as possible. I think people always feel that way about their movie. There's usually like a set budget and that budget usually goes over. Wow. So you have to find out, that's the producer's job, not necessarily my job.
Yeah.
But Ash and Andy, our DP, and our producer, Amy, they really wanted to make Mildred's story sort of larger than life because I think, that's how Mildred wanted to be remembered. And not only that, there's a grounding and like a nostalgia to the era, just so that she could really live and breathe in the era that she was in. And it really looks like the movie it's supposed to look like for her. You know, I
Right.
don't know if that's indie or studio or whatnot, but it just is perfect for her.
For
You know?
sure. And there was something Ash said that I was like, wow, is like, and I know from the book what he meant, but when he's like, this movie should be like off the book rated R, but we wanted to make it PG so it can be family
PG-13.
13, so families can watch it. What do you feel about her story? Do you think like fine at PG-13, or you felt like okay, it could have been rated R to showcase a little more of the trauma she went through?
You know, I go back to thinking this is probably how Mildred would want to be remembered.
Yeah.
You know, I also think that she really did believe in inspiring sort of the younger generation of women. And I don't think that starts at 13 per se, but I don't think we could have gone any lower without making it feel a little unrealistic for her life. Um, but I really do appreciate the PG-13 rating, because when I was a kid or that age, even being 12 and like sneaking in, I think I snuck in to see like Vanilla Sky. And I think I always regretted it, because when that car goes off the bridge, I like remember it was quite traumatic.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It was like, oh, there's a reason I shouldn't be in here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there were so many movies to choose from, and maybe we don't have the same type of pattern of going to films as much anymore because we have so much accessibility. But I do think that if you're inspired to take your kids to the movie and there's only one movie to go to, we want more, I think, in that realm. And I don't think that this unrepresents or disrepresents her story at all. I think it's respectful for who she was and what she would wanted to tell, if that makes sense.
I completely agree with you, because we get to see those bits of, whether it was domestic violence or anything else she went through. So we know that's not a one-time thing. That was reoccurrence. And I don't think we needed it more in the film. And I think my favorite scene, and it was like so emotional for me, was, after that last beat up, and she comes in and the mom, wants to say like, let's call the cops. And she's like, but I don't want to be known for this. Like exactly what you said. And I believe that I don't think any woman in that situation, especially who's broken barriers and has created history and has the younger generation looking up to her, you don't want to be known for this, because sadly for women, which still in 2025, which is crazy, we become that. That's like ends up being our story, and they make us the victim. And so I think it was told so incredibly and gave us enough where us who are mature enough know, like, she went through a lot. Like, you don't even have to show us it all. We could feel it while we watch. But then you've never heard that from any strong woman yet in a movie of like, this is why I don't want to be known for it. Because then this is my story. And I loved that.
Yeah, she didn't want to wash away, I think, what she had built. And I think there's definitely an argument for, telling your truth and coming forward. I think that is what I believe, but I do think that for who she was and at the time, and it's like she was transferring that inspiration to somewhere else in a different facet of her life, right? Like the more we can come forward and speak honestly about things that happen to us only empowers people around us. Hopefully that's the hope, right? But I do think that she was empowering women so much in other, and not even just women, like Gorgeous George, right?
I love
Thanks her for him, or for his sort of being as well. And yeah, there's so many people are complex.
Yes.
We have to give each other a little more grace and really believe in each other more. And I think she's suffered a lot of tragedy. I really do. And we end our film, no spoilers, on an up.
Yeah.
But her life doesn't end on an up, and I kind of like, now that I have so much hindsight and I think about, it's been, 50 years since she passed, something like that. And to think about, I don't know where we go, whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that her legacy has this maybe a 50-year break and comes back. Maybe that is her ending on an up. I don't know.
Oh, that's so beautifully
I
said.
think it's giving me full body chill.
That gave me big chills. But that's so true.
Maybe.
And when a film like this is done as an actress, is it hard to all of a sudden just stop being Mildred? Is it like, whoa, like you put so much into it and you're like, okay, we're done. Like how long does it take to kind of almost get out of that and adjust?
Well, I feel like I'm speaking from a new light now. Like I going into Mildred, I call it a deloading process for my character. I thought I had what I needed in terms of deloading in a sense. I was like, okay, for the next character, I have a system or a routine. But now I would say that maybe for the next character, there was something to Mildred. I think because there was such a physiological change that I wasn't going to keep, not just because I didn't want to, but because my body was like, no more.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, we need to get back to sort of a grounding, and then we can grow from there if that's what you want to do, kind of thing. So it was quite difficult because I came home and I wanted to go on a run with my partner in the woods here, which is, something I love to do, something I couldn't do while I was training. There was a no cardio kind of rule, and my legs just felt like steel, and I wasn't giving myself sort of I don't know, I guess like rest and relax, which I think is a struggle for us all.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
but it can be a little frustrating. And there was so much fight in her, like there was a part of me that was kind of constantly, maybe not on edge, but like willing to see everything like a match, because I do think I played Mildred that way. And I think that's probably how she looked at the world and how she had to look at the world. Luckily for me, and because of her, I don't have to look at the world that way. But there was like a part of me that was like, what'd you say to me? What's happening?
Your partner's
Can we
like,
challenge that? Wait, we don't need to challenge that. Oh, okay. We like this idea. Okay.
That's hilarious. I wonder if we were kind of like that when we're in the thick of wrestling.
I feel like maybe at times we still are.
Yeah. Well, it was hard at times when you're done, like when I retired to start having babies, like to all of a sudden be like, wait, I am Brie Bella, right? Oh wait, no, I'm not Brie Bella. Like who am I? Like, cause you do get so sucked into it. And I think people, when they find out about wrestling, they realize we don't have an off season. Like you just go and go and go till your body can't go anymore. And so it's like, you put a lot into it.
A lot of miles.
I hope there's like therapy for wrestlers, because I think that and I say this for actors too, because at least what I should speak for my own, I think the more that I understand like who I am gives me the ability to go deeper into character.
Right.
So if I'm kind of a mess over here, then there's not going to be any understanding for someone like Mildred.
Right.
And I think they can both help each other, but it also makes for like a safe entry and exit, because I think your body's trusting that you're going to come home, as opposed to being like, hey, we are actually asking for more time and you're not giving it to us. So we're not actually going to let you play in this arena very much anymore.
Yes.
And I think that's what happens to me a little bit. And I think the older I get, the more therapy I do.
Yeah.
Same. I mean,
there's
every 2 weeks I get my oil checked.
Well, and that was a big part of my like life coach sessions was she could tell that when I stepped away from the ring, she's like, what Nikki Bella gave you, you let that piece go away, and you need to find that piece again. Like the confidence and the fire and all these things. When I walked away from the ring, I just let her have it and just kept it there. And so I had to have therapy for a while to try to find that part of me again, that it didn't have to connect to the ring to have these things. I could have it in everyday life as a mom and whatever, else I do as an entrepreneur. And so I feel that. And thank goodness I had such an incredible therapist, because you're right. Like it would be so hard I would have felt lost if I didn't have someone just point that out and be like, let's find that somewhere else.
Sure.
Totally.
I agree.
And those are such assets too, to have in like, not only as a mother, but in your life, and like just even finding joy, right? Like if we don't have that confidence and stuff, it's like, where are we going to find our joy in a sense, to wake up every day, like they all kind of like, we want the full spectrum, right? To be able to have the little things as well.
Oh, for sure. I told my husband, I'm like, when I walk into the kitchen and I make dinner, just chant my name. Like,
Brie.
And if it was me, I'd give you booze. Oh, I know you would.
I love that.
Well, my husband's a pro wrestler, so we're very, cool. we get it. And like, it's so nice to have each other. And, so it's been like, he and I, we'll say those carny words to each other, and no one else will understand except each other. Well, I needed that in a partner.
What's funny is Brie's first labor. Brian and I were in there together, and this was 7.5 years ago. So I have the leg, Brian's in the back, And we're like giving her countdowns, chants. So finally she's like, you two need to stop. But we just didn't know how to do it.
Like, we're in my face.
1, 2, 3. I could tell the doctor was even like, what is going
what's
on?
happening?
Yeah, we're in the ring. The doctor's like, okay, all of a sudden. It's like,
I mean,
or something.
seriously, we sounded like referees. I'm like, this is nuts. And when I look back, I'm just like, poor Brie. She finally, after like 2 hours. Yeah.
You gotta write that sketch and like do it.
Honestly,
that'd be so
funny.
That's so funny.
I could see you like actually transforming. We're like giving birth in the ring. All of a sudden, the set changes.
Totally.
Like,
ding, ding, ding.
You know, you can't put anything past wrestlers. That would be a gimmick.
Honestly,
Oh
I mean, it really
push
would.
the doctor out of the way. You know,
I can do it on my own.
Yeah. Nice, good
Like
squat.
that. Yeah, right before you
your
hit the
daughter
comeback.
takes the belt. You know?
Yep.
Oh my gosh! Please write it. Please.
We need to.
You know, but do we have time to play a little game?
Let's play a little game.
Okay, but right before
I know we have 5 minutes.
Okay,
But let's do it.
well, no, I think then we end. Okay, you're right.
Let's do a little fun game.
But before, are we gonna get a special appearance at WrestleMania with you?
I sure hope so.
I mean, I
better.
feel like we need it. How do we not?
Sign me up, baby.
I know the
Tell
internet
me
wants it.
The internet does want it.
Who do I talk to? The internet's like this big amoeba that wants a lot of
They
things.
do want a lot.
And there's a lot that's not real. I'm like, all right.
I always like to be the
crazy
bearer
is
of bad news for the internet. I want to
Yeah,
be
I
like,
know.
false, nope, not happening. Everyone go back to your daily lives.
Yeah, and your doctor goes. It's like, yeah, okay.
Well, if
I know what's crazy is it's like it's this huge amoeba, but then you're like, but I'm also a part of it.
yeah,
Right? Honestly. It's so true.
If it can mess you up, why we all have life
Like we're on
coaches.
there, I know.
Yeah, seriously.
know.
Everyone needs it now.
Let's
at this
play a
point.
little game because it'd be fun to know.
What's the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we thought this game would be really fun to play. It is called Bet On It. So Emily, we'll give you,
You know.
makes sense.
I love this game.
Yeah. We'll give the number and you tell us if it's over or under. Okay.
Okay.
Number of auditions you went on before landing your first big role. Over or under 10 and a half.
Oh, way over.
How many?
Oh, way over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know, but like y'all over.
When did you start auditioning?
17 after my brother's birthday lunch, I saw online that there was an open casting call and I made my mom drive me like 2 hours
Oh my God, I love it.
to it from my brother's like brunch.
Oh my gosh.
To get some diner somewhere. I was like, sorry, Eric, but like I have to go.
Yeah. That
That's
is
so cute,
amazing.
though.
That is super cute.
Was that casting call for Arrow?
No, it was for like a late teen show about I don't know, kids in high school that like had monsters in it.
Hey,
it.
sounds up my alley.
Sounds like
I know.
goosebumps.
I feel like I really wanted it too, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Okay. Hours you spend on makeup in a week. Over or under 6.5?
Way under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a
I
natural
put on
beauty.
makeup
I
for
could have
this,
said that.
but it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
I like it.
I love
I
it.
don't wear it unless I'm at work.
That's me. I
Yeah.
never wear makeup unless like I try to look decent for the podcast or work.
Yeah.
You know?
You look way above decent.
Yeah.
Just so you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, well, thank
Brie,
you.
you got your
You look gorgeous,
Oh,
darling.
thank you. Okay. So daily phone screen time. Over or under 4 hours?
Probably like right at well, it's always more surprising than you think.
No, it is. Every time I get mine, I'm like, no. But
I would say it's probably under 4, but on like a work day, it's probably maybe 5.
yeah.
good for you.
See, mine
That's
have-
great though.
My average is always 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah, but that
Okay.
freaks me out because when I think of a day, I'm like,
Oh.
yeah.
But it's our main source of communication.
I guess.
I mean, when you think of emails, phone calls, I mean, shit. I think you alone would be my 2 hours of
No,
5.
well, that's you and I just got to start to meet more in person, even though we do that too.
I know. We talk way too
2
much.
hours on the phone, 4 hours in person.
Yeah.
Yes,
This
Gosh.
is the real marriage right here.
for sure. She's the husband. I'm the wife.
Proud.
And
So-
the wife.
Cups of coffee you drink per day. Over or under 2.5?
Under. I drink matcha. I don't drink.
I love matcha. I do 1 cup of
yeah.
coffee in the morning. Afternoon is my matcha.
Okay, so there's this coffee shop right here, and they have it. It's an iced mighty matcha, And so it's matcha with peppermint, white peppermint. I mean.
And then what's a cold foam they put on top?
Well, no, that's kind of like the mix of it.
Oh.
You could put it,
and it says homemade cold
add
foam.
a lavender.
Yum.
It is so ridiculous. I've become addicted.
I make like a peppermint mocha with my matcha.
Oh, yeah.
Or like just like chocolate and matcha. I have a matcha company.
Oh, you do?
I drink so much matcha.
Oh, girl.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to buy your
on
matcha.
Your Instagram.
What's it called?
It's called Paradise Matcha. It's all organic. It's like
my
it's my favorite
gosh.
matcha. I drink a lot of matcha.
Okay,
and
that's
matcha's
like upper
really
alley.
hard to do organic because it's a plant that's grown in the shade. So we worked pretty hard to.
Oh my
grab it.
gosh,
But it's
it's
so good.
amazing.
I just finished it.
Oh my gosh, congrats. So Paradise Matcha.
Matcha.
I'm buying it.
Oh,
I'm obsessed.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good. We are putting that.
I'll get your details.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Oh, I love that too.
Okay, let's do 2 more. This is
Two
fun.
more.
I like this.
You have to do the plank one. Very curious.
I wish I had some for you.
I know, right?
Seconds you can hold a plank over or under 60 seconds.
Over.
Yeah, I would have said that.
Okay,
for
so when
sure.
I go do Pure Bar, I'm like, 2 minutes, easy. But then I like always put my
no,
knees
girl,
down.
that's 90 seconds. That ain't 2 minutes.
Oh, that's 90?
That's a 90-second plank they make you do.
Oh no.
I don't know what's wrong, but I did hurt my wrist a lot in wrestling, so I always like to blame that. But
Isn't it core that gives out first?
Yes.
oh shit.
You got to squeeze the core
Then maybe I do it wrong.
because then it relieves the pressure on your wrists and your shoulders.
When I see the women next to me still up in their plank and my knees go down, I'm like, dang it. Like, we'll go back up. I'm like, why do I always like fail?
How long do you
Sometimes
think
when
you could
I
hold
put
yours?
my knees down, I feel like I actually engage my core more. So it depends on like the day. Like I'm like, okay, so I'll put my knees down and then I'm like, oh, this is actually like working the muscle I'm trying to work, as opposed to me just being like, I'm a beast. I'm beast mode. I'm not dropping.
Yeah. Okay. So see, I feel like that's me. I feel like, you know, when my knees are down, I'm feeling it more.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at now
That's
she
my
has. That's going to be
style.
her thing now.
Okay. You asked the last one.
Okay, last one.
In plank. We'll do the whole interview in plank.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That actually.
Oh, everybody likes
That'd
it.
be- Yeah. That'd be a
Yes.
quick interview.
Times you completely ghosted a text conversation. Oh, wait, what do I say? Over, under. Oh, over, under.
or under.
Over, under 5.5.
Way under. I don't know if I've ever ghosted it.
I have never ghosted a conversation. I'm definitely one of those people who, like, I feel obligated to write.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the read receipts on because I feel like then at least they know I've read it. Like I'm not like, oh, you know I read it. Like people are like, well, I don't want people to know. I'm like, no, I'm the opposite, because it means that if I've forgotten, like you can poke me.
Oh, that's a great
What if
mindset.
what if I read it and then I'm like, oh, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
What if it's
So I
important?
never thought about it like that. I always feel like people would be offended if they saw I read it and didn't get back to them.
I mean, if you're offended and I didn't get back to you, like I'll apologize, but also like everybody's got a life, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
that's
I
a
just-
great mindset.
Such a great mindset.
Okay. I might need to
Because
do
I
that.
ghost so many, not like
You
unintentionally.
ghost a lot.
But like just because they're like I have 300 to read and it just gets overwhelming. Like I
You have
saw
300 in your red bubble right now?
Yes,
Holy bananas.
I know. And so I
Are
saw
you
a
okay?
thing. I'm like, and then I get overwhelmed, so then I put it
Yeah,
away.
I know the overwhelming.
Right? I saw a meme and it said when an ADHD person finally makes one callback and everyone's cheering really loud. Yeah, I'm like, I might have ADHD because when I complete one
that
text or call, I'm like, woohoo! I'm good for the day. And then
But
I
you
have,
really
like,
take it on. Like it feels like a
Yes.
load.
totally major
Yeah.
load.
Well, I'm going now to the read. I'm going to let everyone know I read it, but I do have a life and I might not get
I
back to
know.
you.
That's a good one.
Do you have a life and I'm not apologizing for it. And I'm
At
so sorry.
all.
If I meant to get back to
You know? Emily, this was so much fun. Oh my
It
gosh.
was so fun. I'm so glad we finally made it happen.
I know.
Yes.
You're such a gem. I love
Honest.
it.
Oh, so are you both. It's so nice to chat.
It
Yes.
is. If you're ever, well, we live in Napa Valley, which is really far from where
Oh,
you're at,
cool.
right? Because BC's the East Coast. part.
No, BC's the West Coast.
no,
BC's
yeah.
a bubby, but we don't. I mean, yeah, we'll come for a visit.
You have to come.
If you're ever, if we're ever in, so you're outside
Or
Vancouver?
San Francisco.
Yeah, Vancouver.
Oh, perfect. My husband's
Yeah.
from Washington State.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we're up.
amazing.
Yeah. Okay, good. We all need to like chit chat,
We
hang
do.
out.
I agree.
Yeah, let's get together.
Yeah. But before we let you go, is there a little inspiration affirmation you can leave our listeners? a quote, mantra, something you feel that you kind of live by?
Well, I've been working with a little bit of self-kindness recently, and how this isn't really a mantra or anything, but this is the first thing that pops into my head, so maybe I'll try to put it into words. Um, Kindness as a form of self-care, not necessarily like we kind of put self-care kind of into these things about being like, oh, make sure make sure I lie down, make sure I read, make sure I do, those things, but
Totally.
just being kinder to yourself as a form of self-care, and how kindness sort of like into the body, whether that's with like healthy food or like just like listening in that sense, only puts kindness outwards, which I think is
Love
really
that.
interesting, because I don't know, maybe we talked about this earlier, like the grace to give people. Like if you give it to yourself, people are always like, oh, if you give yourself self-love, then it'll go out. It actually does do that, which is wild,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you start giving yourself an understanding, and then that leads into conversation with people. And I think, though that's not a mantra, it's more of like a ramble, but it is what today's version of that is for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I love that because we all need to be like that more.
Yes.
I always tell you that because I think you're so hard on yourself.
Okay.
But I feel like in today's world, people are, because it's hard with social media. We judge ourselves so hard and we compare, and then we get those bad feelings of jealousy, envy, and the stuff. So I love that. Being kinder to ourselves is
Comparison's a
what we need to
killer.
do.
Like, killer of joy, killer of just like good times, fun. Like,
You know?
there's no comparison. I don't think that you can take anything that wasn't yours. Like, we talk about this in acting a lot, right? Like, people are like, "Oh, it's a highly competitive field," and it's true. But I don't think that I don't think like something misses you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the
Sure.
person who plays that character, like it was meant for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
So
competition. It's like,
agree.
oh, that's awesome. Go you, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I
so
so
agree with
that.
I love that.
I love your outlook on everything. It's like incredible. And that advice, it's like
Yeah.
needed.
I can see why you never left Canada.
Yeah. They're so much nicer there.
I need to
It's
move to
everywhere.
Canada.
It's just, all that stuff is everywhere. We just have to be able to, I don't know, find the right people, get into conversation with people. It's easier that way.
Yes.
Totally.
Well,
I agree.
Well, I hope we all stay connected in the future. And thank you again for just, embodying Mildred and telling that story. I know for us wrestlers, like it really hit the heartstrings. And we all were just like, because, Mickey Rourke, he did The Wrestler. And it was so nice to see it from a female perspective. The movie really hit. So thank you again. And for all of our listeners, if you have not seen Queen of the Ring, you are missing out. So please check it out at queenofthering.movie. And you could watch it at select theaters, and you can get your tickets actually on that website. And please check out Emily Bett at her Instagram and TikTok at Emily Bett, and her matcha, Paradise Matcha, because we're all matcha lovers. I swear I see everyone with their green, matchas walking around.
Good, we
now
love
you need
that.
the Paradise
That's
one.
right. You're only cool if you have a
Good
matcha.
for your heart, good for your mind, good for your body. Why not?
Yes.
Love it.
It's a cup of love. I love it.
is.
Every time I drink it, I feel good. I'm always like,
Me too.
Does
Me
my-
too. That's why I got hooked. It's
Yeah.
just, it's peaceful.
It
very
is.
peaceful.
Well, you enjoy that beautiful forest I see peeking behind you. And thank you so much for coming on the Nikki and Brie show.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Emily.
Bye.
Bye.